Analysis of formal and signification aspects of messages posted on YouTube by non-profit organizations. Authors of this paper are Isidoro Arroyo Almaraz of Universidad Rey Juan Carlos in Madrid, Miguel Baños González, also of Universidad Rey Juan Carlos in Madrid, and Clifford van Wyk of Bournemouth University in the United Kingdom. Social networks have become one of the most extensively used means of communications by non-profit organizations. In the Revista Latina de Comunicación Social article, we present the results of a research project funded by the Ministry of Science and Innovation within the National Program of Basic Research Projects in the 6th National Plan for Scientific Research, Development and Innovation of 2010 to 2013. This research study analyzes the formal aspects of the videos posted on YouTube by non-profit organizations with the specific aim of developing a model of efficiency of persuasive communications by non-profit social organizations. The initial hypothesis of the work is that the majority of videos posted on YouTube emit predictable communication. We identified a tendency for similarity and homogeneity in the messages, with uniform and homogeneous profiles in its formal and content aspects. We check those messages in order to answer the following questions. What are the dominant trends? How to use the formal elements, the narrative, and the visual language? What levels of perceived creativity are appreciated? We then used a method of quantitative content analysis to analyze 370 messages representative of those produced in social networks by non-profit organizations in order to define the characteristic profiles of those audiovisual messages. The conclusion of the work is that the majority of the videos transmitted have generated predictable communications. The messages had low levels of creativity. A lot of information has been transmitted in a clear and visible form, and that the messages tended to have homogeneous structures where predominant content is explicit and it has similar formats. Messages are focused more on content than on form. We have identified a tendency for similarity and homogeneity in the messages transmitted by non-profit organizations. With content that was transmitted in a clear and very visible way, the messages tended to have easily identifiable structures that fit into one of the two following profiles. The first is a more informative profile, IP, which was defined by the following aspects. There are messages without implicit ideas, with very concrete, simple, and denotative information, with frequent use of enunciative clauses, and therefore with a low level of rhetoricalization. Secondly, a more persuasive profile, PP, which is defined by the following aspects. These messages contain implicit ideas with complex, polysemous, connotative, and not very concrete information, with frequent use of possibility clauses and therefore a high degree of rhetoricalization. Construction of these messages is a strategic choice due to the limitations of the communication departments of many of these organizations that they used too often previously issued messages through other communication means.